15th question says an object of mass 1 kg traveling in a straight line with a velocity of 10 meters per second, that is the initial velocity of the object, mass of the object, and collides with a block, with a wooden block. This object moves and collides with a wooden block and sticks to it, and this mass of this block is 5 kg. Then both of them move together in the same straight line. They will be moving, and calculate the total momentum just before the impact and just after the impact. Also calculate the velocity of the combined object. Now this becomes a whole system, and since it is moving, we are required to find the combined velocity. Since the block before the collision was stationary, so the initial velocity of the block is 0. So total momentum before the impact will be the combined product of these two things and these two things and their sum. This is the total momentum before the impact. It is nothing but the momentum of the block and the momentum of the object before collision, and it is nothing but this sum of the products of these two things. So this is the total momentum before impact. Now total momentum after the impact will be a joint velocity. They stick together and travel with the same velocity, therefore V is common for both, and it is the masses will be summed up to give 1 kg plus 5 kg gives 6 kgs, and therefore 6 V kg meter second is the total momentum after impact. Now we know, according to the law of conservation of momentum, the total momentum before collision will be equal to total momentum after collision, and therefore these two values form an equation, and from that we can obtain the velocity of this combined unit. And from this we have 2 3s, 2 5s, and finally the answer is 1.67 meters per second. That is the final combined joint velocity of this entire system of block and the object. 16th sum, an object of mass 100 kg is accelerated uniformly from a velocity of 5 meters per second to 8 meters per second in 6 seconds. That is the time taken for this change of velocity. Calculate the initial and final momentum and final momentum of the object. Also find the magnitude of force exerted on the object. And initial momentum is the product of mass and initial velocity, which is nothing but 500 kg meters per second. And final momentum is the product of mass and final velocity, which is nothing but 800 kg meters per second. And force exerted on the object is nothing but rate of change of momentum, which is final momentum minus initial momentum by time taken. Time is 6 seconds, and we have these two momenta in place, 800 minus 500 by 6 seconds, kg meters second. So the final value is 50 newtons.